Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 109 of the regular season. Astros lose 5-3 to the Minnesota Twins in bit of a snoozer. I don't love saying that about Astros games, but I'm going to call it what it was. It was a game where the offense was pretty inept until it was far too late to save it. So before I get into the actual game, a few bits of relevance before the game. One today, sadly, was reported the passing of Astros legend, beloved franchise player from back in the 70s, and mainstay in their rotation, J.R. Richard, passed away today, which was just gut-wrenching to hear. There have been far too many Astros legends in the past, year and a half that have passed away, and it really is just gut-wrenching. Fantastic pitcher for the Astros. Final two seasons, some of the best ever pitched by an Astros player. 1979 led the league, ERA, FIP, strikeouts. Magnificent season, one of the best in Astros history. The next season, he was on pace to maybe win the Cy Young and have potentially the best season in Astros history by a pitcher. And the stroke cut his career short. And so this was just gut-wrenching news today. On a bit of a longevity side, the defensive setup for today, right? So I understand that Yuli, who seems to still be battling a tiny bit of an injury, you want to be cautious with. I agree with that. He has been a massive contributor this season to the offense. I get that. I get that you want to give him some time off, make sure that there's nothing wrong there. Don't want to rush him. Same with Bregman. He should not be rushed. I mean, we're coming up on the playoffs. They're sooner rather than later. They're a lot closer than you think. So I get that too. Cray and off day, I get that as well. All three at the same time leaves you with a bit of a strange infield where you go Diaz at third, Robel Garcia at shortstop, which, how is Luis Garcia or Robel Garcia still on the Major League roster? And then you get over finally to first base, which Martin Maldonado played first base tonight. And to his credit, he played fine. There was no egregious error that he made. I thought, knowing Maldonado, and because baseball is barely a sport, it just seemed like something would happen, he'd make some diving play. Sadly, he didn't, but he was fine, all said and done. So, enough with the house cleaning. On to what actually happened. And what actually happened was just a touch of a bummer. First inning, nothing of note. Second inning, immediately the game gets out of hand. A 4-run inning for the Twins. And at that point, the Astros are on the back foot. You kind of think to yourself the game is probably over because they've dug themselves a deep hole. You also think to yourself, Valdez is probably not going to get very deep. Now, credit to Framber Valdez. Did he have a good game tonight? No, not particularly. It was pretty rough. But he was able to go pretty deep into the game, 6 2/3. So he didn't have to soak the bullpen and just make him pitch a ton of innings, which is sort of what my fear was going into the game, especially after last night where 5 of the 8 innings were bullpen innings. And I thought tonight, I'm like, if we have to go to him again, tomorrow we're going to have to just hope that whoever we have pitch for the rest of the series can go 7 or 8 or 9 innings because the bullpen is going to be taxed. So Framber Valdez, granted, he had a bad day overall, but he was able to salvage the Astros pitching staff and specifically the bullpen, which was a positive. Take it, silver linings, man. You got to take the silver linings where you can find them. Later on in the game, Jason Castro lined one. That was a beautiful home run. I don't know what the exit velo was off of that, but I have to guess over 110. It was just absolutely a bullet out of the park for Castro, which made it a woohoo 4-1 game. Then a little bit later on in the 8th, Andrelton Simmons would get a bunt single RBI, which was kind of a bummer. I want to emphasize this, I'm not an old school, you mean? I'm not an old talking head. I'm just like, really? You're going to go for a bunt single? You're up 4-1. It wasn't even that, I wasn't mad because I'm like, you don't have to show, but I was just confused. I'm like, wait, you really think that's the best course of action for your team? Okay, fair enough. I'll take the out, I guess. And then in the ninth, because the Astros continue to have games where they kind of don't show up till late, Yordan Alvarez hits a 2-run shot, and it was a missile, second deck, or may have been third even. It was demolished by Yordan Alvarez. But that was really it. They'd get the tying run to the plate in the ninth, but nothing of consequence. Offense tonight, again, pretty inept. When the majority of your team is 0 for 4, you have a bit of an issue. Altuve, back-to-back nights going 0 for 4, which is not great. He is the heart and soul of this team. If Altuve is not doing well, the team is probably also not going to be doing too well. Brantley had a hit. McCormick had a pair of hits. Yordan had the home run. Other than that, and Jason Castro, the offense was dead. And that's a bummer, because it wasn't even like they were just striking us out ad nauseum. They really only got strikeouts towards the end of the game. So it wasn't just that they were just dealing all night. It was just that we couldn't really make any solid contact or get base runners on. Also, no discipline, only walked twice, which is not ideal. Pitching line-wise, Fromber was not good, but he wasn't the worst that he could have been. I mean, maybe we're just grading on a curve as a fan base for Motorizzi last night. 6 2/3, 4 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Not bad. A fine game. Yimi Garcia came in for a third of an inning, got a strikeout, did give up a walk, but it's okay. He got the strikeout. He got the crucial out. Yimi Garcia, again, seeming pretty solid. Really good movement on his pitches tonight, I noticed. And Javier went 2 innings where the only run surrendered was that weird bunt single. Did walk 3 guys, which is not ideal, and did get a pair of strikeouts. But really, this is just sort of a game that you go, wow, that was not great. Try to move on, pick your chin up. There's not a whole lot to take from this game that you could say, oh, well, we got to look at it and learn from it. There really wasn't. It was just a game where the offense didn't really show up. Now, granted, it's a bit of traveling. I get that, but it was just rough. So tomorrow night, we play the Twins again, 8:10 Eastern, 7:10 Central. We're going to send Greinke to the mound. They are going to send Bailey Ober, and he rolls in with a near 5 ERA. So please, Astros, beat up on him. He has an inflated ERA. You're in your own ballpark. Hopefully, Correa will be back in the lineup. I don't see why he shouldn't be, and maybe, God willing, Yuli would be, if I could hope. So you got to knock this guy around a little bit. You got to get a win. You got to win this series against the Twins. You can't let them at least split it, right? So that's really all I have for the evening. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Astros.